systematic thing where something's going wrong with the way they're bringing product to the marketplace, maybe I want to reconsider now before I buy one of their products, right? And so if you look at what happened to Toyota through the same period of time as these statistics up here, they've had basically a 10% drop in the value of their brand, relative, especially in comparison to the rest of the market that's going up by 20 to 50% in the same time frame. That's a huge, huge, huge loss in shareholder value. Senior executives will get very concerned about graphs like this, okay? So we will help you protect your brand, all right? Last piece is, this is the unpleasant part of, I think what a lot of quality management professionals experience is the cringe factor when the VP of quality shows up at the door of the CFO or the CEO and says, hey, I got something I need to talk to you about. That is probably not a good leading indicator of the conversation about to follow. And if you look at the degree of rigor now that the regulatory bodies are putting into the marketplace and the level of scrutiny and so forth, this trend line of seeing recalls, contamination incidents, and so forth is going up and up and up and up and up. You can't get through the week without picking up the Wall Street Journal and seeing two or three examples of this. And the scary thing is obviously this is the stuff that gets out of the press because you're a well-known consumer brand and people will read stories about this. So how, what's the impact of things like this happening in the marketplace? Well, in the survey that I think has been done with a lot of senior executives, they attribute at least half of these situations to what we talked about at the beginning, which is, we started doing all this outsourcing stuff and sending this stuff out to suppliers and so forth, and that's where we think a lot of our quality problems are coming from. In fact, I would argue that with a lot of the organizations we talk to, 52% is probably a conservative number. It's probably even higher than that in a lot of different cases, right? So how do most organizations typically deal with that? Well, they don't have systems in place. They don't have capabilities in place. So they, as I like to say, they lawyer up. They cover this over with paper and basically put mechanisms in place to sue their suppliers if bad things happen. It doesn't really fix your brand problem with the consumer. It just makes you feel better that you were able to, scrape out a little bit of the remediation that happened and all that brand destruction that occurred, right? And if you look at the typical cost of a recall that we see in the marketplace, you know your business better than we do. Move this scale wherever you think is appropriate. Typically somewhere at least $10 million, maybe as high as $90 million, maybe even higher than that in certain situations. So getting in front of this problem is a big, big deal from the standpoint of the performance of the company on an annual basis, okay? So we think quality management is very applicable across all of those facets of the business, all of those stakeholders of the organization. We think we've got value that we can bring to the table. It's probably different for different organizations, but we'd love to be able to have a conversation with you around how we think we can drive value for your organization. So why Sparta? So, hopefully we're bringing thought leadership to the table. As I said, we are an organization that has defined this space called quality management. That's what we do. And we think that we provide thought leadership that we can help you get ahead of some of these challenges that you might have. This thing has been proven over and over and over again through the years, through all the users, through the scalability. If you have an ecosystem where you've got tens of thousands of people that touch your product, we can help you with that because we've done it already before. Okay? It's a flexible platform that can evolve as your company needs to. If you need to start today with getting your internal processes harmonized and on board, we can start there. And then as you work out into your ecosystem, we can help you with that at the appropriate point in time. And the good news is that we've got an approach based upon all of these projects that we've done that's geared around getting speed to value quickly. Because I think that's the key here is value propositions don't do you any good unless you can realize them quickly and start gaining results immediately. Okay? Thanks for your time today.